Earthquake, volcano, death, destruction, billions of dollars worth of damage. Every day, millions of people are living near an active volcano that could erupt at any moment. Millions more live in the Ring of Fire, which is an area of active tectonic plates in which an earthquake could happen at any time. While science has made predicting earthquakes and volcanic eruptions more precise, it still does not stop the devastation of Mother Nature. Earthquakes. Living in Appalachia, earthquakes can feel like a foreign concept. However, for the millions of people that live in active tectonic plate areas, it is something that is much more real. Science has provided ways to measure earthquakes, with the most common being the Richter magnitude scale. The higher the magnitude of the earthquake, the more destructive and deadly it becomes. Those living in the Ring of Fire have the most active tectonic plates. The state of California is the most susceptible area of the continental United States for earthquakes. This is due to it being, 1, in the Ring of Fire, and 2, being in between the Pacific and North American plates along the San Andreas Fault. Not all earthquakes are created equal. The following are 3 examples of earthquakes that have affected the world. We start with the Biobío earthquake in Chile on February 27, 2010. It measured an 8.8 on the Richter scale. It occurred off the south-central coast of Chile at 3:34 a.m. For the next couple of weeks, there were hundreds of aftershocks. A tsunami with a 50-foot wave hit the city of Constitución. It was also the first time that scientists were able to prove that earthquakes can cause secondary seismic activity in Antarctica due to the fact that the Biobío earthquake caused 7 secondary earthquakes in Antarctica. 400,000 homes were damaged, and there were 500 deaths. Next up is the Sumatra earthquake. On December 26, 2004, the earthquake struck underwater off the coast of the Indonesian island of Sumatra at 7:59 a.m. The resulting tsunami was what resulted in the absolute destruction of the area. The resulting tsunami killed 225,000 people. Additionally, the destruction to homes and farmland was far-reaching all the way to parts of India and Sri Lanka. The earthquake alone was the 3rd largest ever recorded with a magnitude of 9.1. Finally, we have the May 22nd, 1960 earthquake in Valdivia, Chile. It registered a 9.5 on the Richter scale and was the largest earthquake ever recorded in the 20th century. Additionally, like many earthquakes, the Valdivia quake caused a tsunami in the Pacific coastal areas. It hit 100 miles of the coast of Chile at 3:11 p.m. Over half the buildings in Valdivia were destroyed or considered inhabitable. Historical records disagree over many of the statistics, but the agreed upon numbers are approximately 2 million people became homeless, 3,000 were injured, and 1,655 people were killed. Switching gears, we move from the destruction caused by earthquakes to the devastation of volcanic eruptions. Woohoo! In order to understand what causes volcanoes to blow with deadly results, a little background understanding is necessary. Volcanoes are caused by magma, which is a mixture of liquid rock, crystals, and dissolved gas, which is expelled onto Earth's surface. There are 3 types of magma: basaltic, intermediate, and felsic. There are also 4 main types of volcanoes: cinder cone, shield volcanoes, stratovolcanoes, and lava domes. Hawaii is home to many shield volcanoes, which can spurt molten lava 10 to 500 meters in the air. You might be asking yourself, what is the difference between a mountain and a volcano? Volcanoes result from the collection of lava after several eruptions. They contain a V crater, magma, and lava. Most volcanoes are mountains, but not all mountains are volcanoes. Some mountains are made by tectonic features, while others are formed by erosional features. Finally, some volcanoes, such as Mount Kilimanjaro and Mount Rainier, are both mountains and volcanoes. Doesn't that sound fun? Volcanoes are categorized as active, dormant, and extinct. They are measured on the Volcanic Explosive Index, or VEI. Each increase in interval represents a tenfold increase. They range from 0 to 8, with 8 being a super eruption and 0 being a non explosive eruption. There are currently 1,900 active volcanoes in the world. The first volcanic eruption we are looking at is the Mount Tambora eruption in 1815. It measured a 7 on the VEI scale, and it occurred on Sumbawa Island in Indonesia. It is considered the most destructive explosion on Earth in the last 10,000 years and killed 10,000 people instantly. 4 months afterwards, the climate was actually changed due to the eruption, which led to crop failure and starvation. In 1816, due to the explosion, the Northern Hemisphere experienced a year without summer, which is also credited with being the year that Mary Shelley wrote Frankenstein and the bicycle being invented. Isn't that interesting? Second up is the Krakatoa eruption of 1883. It registered a 6 on the VEI scale. Krakatoa was an uninhabited island in the Strait of Sunda, midway between Java and Sumatra. 36,417 people were killed, most by the giant sea waves. Ooh, sea waves. And 165 coastal villages were destroyed. Additionally, a large part of the island of Krakatoa was no longer above sea level. People observed green and blue suns due to the ash entering the stratosphere. Finally, we have the Mount Pinatubo explosion on June 15th, 1991. The explosion occurred in the Philippines and was the second largest of the 20th century. The eruption was caused by a July 16th, 1990 magnitude 7.8 earthquake 60 miles away. Thanks to pre-warning and good science, $250 million worth of property and 5,000 lives were saved. However, 200,000 people were misplaced and many towns were completely destroyed. With advances in science predicting future earthquakes and volcanic eruptions, the number of fatalities and damage to property has been able to decrease. However, not all areas have the same resources and ability to predict future occurrences due to access and lack of infrastructure. Big cities such as Tokyo and Seattle are able to retrofit buildings and institute advanced warning systems, which are vital to future reduction and devastation. Mother Nature will always be volatile, but science is making headway with predicting the destruction.